So in this video, we're going to make some enemies, and notice how when the enemy hits a character, it gets thrown back, and eventually we will add some damage. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with this enemy here, this mace. To find it, you go to Bayit Games, you go to Mace, Saw, and Spike, PNG, the 256. I'm going to click on Mace. Now its pixels per unit were the wrong size. You have to change it. I think it says 100. You have to change it to 128 and click Apply. Now just drag one into your scene. I'm going to put it over here, somewhere about that height. Let me move my character over there so that I can kind of gauge how high I want it. All right, that works. So we want this to move up and down, and we're going to get that started with a script. So I'm going to add a component. I'll call it Mace. New script, and create and add. And I will double click this to open it in Visual Studio. I'll start by adding 4 variables up here. And the first is letting me know whether I'm moving down or not, because my mace is going to move up and down. The second video is my starting position. I need to know where it starts so I can move back up to that position. The next 2 are the speeds. It's going to move down faster than it moves up. If you don't like these speeds, you can change them. You can even make serialized fields here if you want. I like the speed, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, next. First thing I have to do is find my starting position. So start position is equal to the current position. So transform.position. So when the game starts, I find my start position. And then I'll be able to move up and down from that start position. In update, I'm going to write a move method, so I'll type move here. But I haven't written the method yet, so I have to right click, and you will do quick actions and refactorings and create your method and delete this here. And in here, I need to know if when I'm moving, I need to know if I'm moving up or moving down. So if I'm moving down, I will do something, and we'll figure out what that is right now. If I'm moving down, we're going to do something. Moving down is either true or false. So we've set it to true, so when this first starts, it's going to move down. And then what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to steal some of the variables we used in our Laser Defender game. So I've typed these in here so you wouldn't have to watch me type. The first variable is the change. This is the change in y. We did this in our last game. And this is our new y position. So I take my current position and add the change. This would be my new y position. And finally, actually move the object here with transform.position. And I did not change the x position. I just wanted to change the y position there. So save your script, hop back to Unity, and our mace should fall. There it goes. One more time. There it goes. Okay, we want it to stop and then move back up. So let's do that. Let's go back to our script here. And after transform.position, I want to know, well, if my start position, which we got earlier, dot y, so whatever my start position, whatever its y value is, minus its current y position, which is transform dot position dot y, if that is greater than 3.5, we're going to do something here, and all we're going to do is change move down to false. And you can play with this number right here. We're going to see how it works right now, actually. So I'll save my script. I will come back, and I will push play. My mace should go down and stop. One more time. Go down and stop. I'm going to alter my mace a little bit because I want it to land on the ground here. So I will drag it down a little bit and we'll push play. We'll see how that works. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, now we need it to move back up. It comes down and moves back up. So we'll hop back into the script, and that's here. If it's moving down, we want it to move down. Otherwise, it's actually moving up. So here, I'm going to put a note here. If move down, this is, I'll put 2 forward slashes. This is move down. If move down is false, we would have an else statement right here. So I'll type else, and I'll put a note. This is move up. And I'll hit return. I need to type my curly braces. Now really everything I need is right here to move it back up. I'm actually going to need all of this here. We're going to change a lot of it, but I'm just going to copy what we already have, paste it in here. So right click, copy, come down here and paste it. And my delta y now is not time.delta time times down speed, it's actually up speed this time. So I'll change that to up speed. Nothing else here changes, but this line here, if my start position minus transform.position.y, if this is less than 0, so if this is less than 0, then I've moved back to my starting position. Basically, that's what that's saying. We're going to move back to the starting position. Then I set my move down to true. And we'll save the script. We will then play it, see what happens. There we go. Down, up, down, up. Now, right now, no damage happens. So we will fix that next. So now when my character runs into the mace, we want to make the character fly backwards depending on which direction the character is facing. So in order to do that, first thing, I need a collider on my mace. So I'll go to the mace, I will add component, and a box collider 2D will work. It's probably a little too big, so I'll zoom in here. And yeah, it's a little bit too big. I'm going to edit the collider and just down a little bit. We want it to be close to, there we go. Maybe a little bit longer on the spikes there. I think that'll work well. So my collider is done, but we have to add is trigger. This is going to be a trigger, so I'll put a check mark next to there. And I'm pretty much done with my mace. I want to make it a prefab, so I'm going to drag it into the prefabs folder at this point. Now we're going to edit our character script a little bit to get to fly back when it gets hit. So how do we do that? Well, we'll go to the character script, open that up, and after update and before fall here, I'm going to write a new method. Public void get hit. And in there, I need to know which direction my character is facing. Is it facing left or right? And that's going to determine which way it flies. So we already kind of have that going here. So we've done that. We know we have my sprite, and we can get its where is it? The flip x. So if my sprite dot flip x is equal to false, that means I'm facing to the right there. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go to my rigid body, which I already have, and I'm going to add a force. And what am I going to add? Well, I'm going to add a new vector 2. And I'm going to go -1, comma 1 there, and multiply by, we already have this jump power. I think that'll work for us. So new vector 2, this is giving a direction. This is up in the y direction, so that's up, and then to the left in the x direction. So up and to the left is diagonally to the left. So I'm adding a force diagonally to the left and multiplying by jump power. Now I'm going to go else here. So that means flip x is true. I'm just going to copy this, paste it in here, but I need to change this. If I'm facing to the left, I need to go up and to the right, which this would be a +1 instead of a -1. Okay, save your script. This won't do anything yet. We have to go back to the mace script. So let's go back here. I'll grab my mace object and I will go to the mace script. And we need to make a couple changes here. Actually, what we have to do is pretty easy. We're going to write an onTriggerEnter that just calls the method we just wrote in character. In character, we wrote getHit. And so we're going to call this method in mace. So I'm in the mace class here, and I am going to, between update and move here, write an onTriggerEnter. Private void onTriggerEnter 2D. So now I just have to get the character, so I'll go my character, and I'm going to call it my CHAR. And I have to go out in the world and find it, so I go find object of type, and it's a my character. Put 2 parentheses and a semicolon, and then finally down here I just go my character dot get hit, and I'm going to save that. I'm going to hop back into Unity. I'm going to push play and let's test it out. So I'm facing right. I should go back into the left. Hey, look at that. That was great. And of course I died there. And let's check I'm facing the other direction, and I get thrown back into the right there. Now no damage is actually happening yet on my character, so that will be in the next video. This video is getting a little bit long.